Hey everybody, it's the Queen of Philadelphia, Tanqueray Hayward. I am back for my 9-month Sisterlock update, which I will talk about my hair, but I'm also going to talk about my journey with alopecia. So stay tuned.
Imagine what love would be like. I can't imagine what love would be. Can't imagine what's love without you. Without you, baby.
All right, so I know I am so bad with following up. I think the last video I made and the only other video, I think I was 4 months in, I believe. So I'm at the 9-month mark, and I will come back on at the 12-month mark just to, just talk about my journey with the Sisterocks. But again, I was supposed to do a video on alopecia, which I am going to do tonight. Okay, so with the 9 months, the locks are just flourishing. There was a point in where I did have shrinkage, so my locks were thin and long. Then they started just easing its way up, and then they started plumping out, and now they're starting to have length again. And this is my hair without doing, a braid out, to kind of elongate it. So that's pretty cool. So I actually had a retie last week. So this is a week old. But I want to do a full view. And the last video, I did a very bad job with showing the area with the alopecia. So this is where the bald spot was. And so I just wanted to I can kind of see through here. So it's coming in nicely there. So I'm excited. These locks are, much shorter, of course, here than the rest of my hair. So it kind of looks like my hair is layered, and I'm just loving how it's just growing and doing its own thing. I haven't cut my hair. I haven't styled my hair. So it's just kind of coming in its own little style. I could wash it now without braiding and banding. So yay. So I can just get in it and go. I still use the Trader Joe's Tea Tree Tingle for my hair. I've always been using it even when I was a loose natural. And so my hairdresser uses that as well. And so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so again, it's just lovely. And she does put oil in my hair after she washes it. I put oil in it after I wash it. That's the only time I'll put oil in it. And usually I'll wash it 2 weeks after a retie, and then I go back to her, because I typically go to her about every 5 weeks to get my retie. So it's only 2 washes in between. I haven't felt the need to wash it every week. So, but that's pretty much it with the hair. It's just the budding is going on. The locks are just plump, and again, they're just doing what they're supposed to do. And I really enjoy that part of it. Now we're going to get to the good stuff, which is about the alopecia. All right, so I jotted some notes down here. And so what I was diagnosed with is called CCCA, which is centrifugal cicatricial alopecia. It's a typical type of alopecia that commonly occurs more in Black women from ages 30 to 55. And basically, they really don't know all the precise causes, but it's usually typically due to inflammation, and it's an inflammatory condition basically that destroys your hair follicles, which causes the scarring. And so let's break it down. Central, meaning that it typically happens in the center of the head. And so I'm gonna put a picture up of when I first noticed where my area right dead in the center appeared. It was back in February of 2014. And I remember at that time, being natural, and I did my first, I did my big chop. I was experimenting with products and all, and I was doing something called co-washing. So just washing with conditioner. And I noticed that at this particular time, right after I co-washed for the first time. The middle of my scalp was burning and irritated. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't co-wash. So I stopped co-washing. And then I saw, that space in the middle, and I'm like, well, what's going on here? Why am I losing hair here? So I thought it was due to the co-washing, the just conditioner, just at my scalp and it being sensitive. So I said, well, okay, co-washing is not for me. I'm not going to do it. I'll just stick to doing shampoos. So then from there, it started growing back very, very slow. All right, so with the term CCCA, central, that means it occurs in the center of the head. Centrifugal means that if not taken care of early, it starts to go away from the center, meaning that it starts to spread out, which that is what happened to me. Cicatricial, it is a scarring alopecia, meaning that once you have scar tissue there, typically no hair grows there, or it's very, 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 very fine. Just like if you have just scar tissue on your arm or whatever, typically in the healthcare field, if you have scar tissue, we do not draw blood in that area. And again, if the area is just thick and just a bunch of tissue, so there's no nutrients, there, unfortunately. And of course, alopecia is the hair loss that comes from it. And when I finally found out about what the diagnosis was, it wasn't until about 2021 when I finally decided to see it. 2020 when I finally decided to see a dermatologist, and he actually took a biopsy of my scalp to confirm what it was. And basically, it was one of these situations where it was like, okay, I don't have nothing to lose. I'll take whatever treatment you think is necessary. So we went with steroid injections, and that was the best decision that I made. So as I mentioned, I found out about, that middle area, a small middle area, in February 2015. Over a year later, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. So I found out I was pregnant about June of 2015. And, just going through pregnancy, and hair was just full of life and growing, and that center was fine, didn't really have any issues. It was coming in. And so, I wanted like a little tapered cut with it short on the sides and long in the front. And I wanted it to grow out. That was my goal at that time. And so that's what I had done. I had my daughter at the end of 2015, December 2015. So by the time she was about 5 or 6 months old, I started really having really noticeable postpartum shedding. And it occurred especially right on the sides of my head. And I had cut off the tapered look, and because I wanted a whole new hairstyle. Because, again, I can't even tell you how many times I've done the big chop. So, but it was definitely noticeable with my hair being short as it was. You notice that the sides, well, the one side here, but they on both sides, it was pretty bad. So I had to kind of wait for time to let that hair fill in. But again, the center wasn't an issue. Again, it was just, chilling, doing its thing. This next picture is November 2016. My daughter was about almost 11 months. We were out voting, and again, my hair was it was growing in nicely. The sides, I wasn't even really thinking about the middle, because again, it was just doing its thing. And it was growing, so I was like, okay, cool. And so just enjoying my hair at the time, enjoying my baby, enjoying life. So now we fast forward to February 2018. So my daughter, is 2 at this point, in daycare. And now I decided to try, I decided to dye my hair. I'm doing music now more, and singing and performing and doing things. And I just wanted a different look and something to change it up with. So my hairstylist at the time, she hooked me up. She bleached my hair. Big mistake. I love the look. But I remember it was like one day I woke up and my hair was gone in the center. So I had my hair cut short, and then in the middle was just like this hole. And I was like, OMG, what am I going to do? So I ended up cutting it back off again, because again, the goal was to have just the front long. But because, that center just came out with hair very, very, the hair was there, but it was very, very short. So I just had to wear it tapered down, to here all the way back, and then just have the bang, and I was pissed because that wasn't really what I wanted, but I had to have it. And then my hairdresser was like, okay, going forward, we'll just go as high as we can blonde without bleaching it. So that's what I did until COVID. By April 2018, I had cut my hair back short and just wanted to start over, especially with that front. I was going through a lot with the military and, just with the hairstyle and all of that. So I had decided to, continue to keep it blonde, but then just cut the front off and then just start from scratch and just let my hair grow back in. And then here's a picture of it growing back in. And so by January of 2019, that following year, I started, I let it grow in so I can wear braids. And then by July 2019, I was wearing my hair braided, and I liked that style because it was different, with it shaved on the sides, but then the long, hair at the top. And so wore it braided up until COVID. July of 2020, I took those braids out and then noticed that the braids took a lot of the hair out in the center. And so what happens is, again, with hair, a lot of times when the scalp is being pulled, hair does come out. Again, I wasn't thinking too much about, I knew my center was out with the dye, but again, it was kind of growing slow and doing its thing, and it grew enough, so I could braid it. So I thought it was okay. But the manipulation with the braids because I had braids over a year, so on and off, and just kept getting it done over. So once I took it out, lo and behold, now the spot is bigger, and I'm like, OMG, here we go. Like, what is this? So it was not good. This next picture here is August of 2020. When I washed my hair, really noticed the area. And then took another picture of my hair actually blown out. So I could I blow dried my hair. And then I wanted to see the area just like it was. And after a while, I had just gotten to a point where I just went outside and just rocked it. And I was like, there's probably going to be people taller than me in the stores looking at my head like, why is this girl out here with this bald spot in the middle of her head? I just didn't care after a while. But I think what helped me over the time was doing braid outs because the hair is crinkly, and I would kind of pin it over, and my hair was thick enough that I could kind of just swoop some of the hair and cover the area. But it was very red, very raw, and very irritated. And so yeah, started going to a dermatologist in October of 2020. A gentleman that I found on the internet, wanted to see who took my insurance. And because I really wanted my hair to grow. I wanted locks. I had been wanted locks at the time, and I really wanted to try. I did not want to go back to a shortcut. I was almost in tears. No, I really want to get my hair in locks, and I don't want my hair short anymore. Those times previously when I've done it, and I loved it at that time, but not this time. I did not want to cut my hair because of the fact that I had, this bald spot. So I kind of did this on the computer and found a dermatologist. He ended up being very, very thorough. I love the fact that he just didn't look at the scalp, and especially, because, he's not black. And so he got my history, looked at everything, and did a biopsy. And so I was like, you the man, very sweet guy. And did a biopsy, and he had to cut a piece of the scalp to test it. and it did come back, in fact, that I had a scarring alopecia. And so he said, well, we could do some things. So I did take an antibiotic once a day, every day for a couple months. Because again, it was more of an inflammation issue and, trying to get the inflammation down. I even looked online to see what types of foods that I could eat that were inflammatory. And so took the antibiotic, but then he also gave me steroid shots. They were very painful. Basically, he had the steroid medication and he would, inject, go in with the needle, inject, go in the needle, inject. And then he really would go in the areas that was the most sensitive. So I really had to hold my breath because, that needle was a little thick and it hurt. But beauty is pain, so they say. So getting the injections, I said, all right, we're going to do this. And I did that once a month for over a year. So once I started going to him, here, December 2020, this is my hair braided down so I could actually see the area. And again, it was all about being patient, Then I met my hairdresser, Mariah, who is a sweetheart. She's the one who put the locks in. And so meeting her around that time, she was just a blessing. And so in the meantime, I would see the dermatologist, get my injections, but then she would also do treatments. She used the electro stimulator to stimulate my scalp. Like, she really worked on my hair and put a lot of love in her hands. The love in her hands really helped my hair. And then, the stuff that I did at home. And then we started seeing some results. So that was pretty cool. January 2021, I was finally able to see some growth where, couldn't really see the scalp at all. So every time I would just go to the dermatologist, he would be excited. He would take pictures. He just thought it was amazing, because, he wasn't sure. He said, there's a possibility that you won't have no hair growth at all. And I was like, well, again, I'd rather try it than not, it doesn't hurt. So I'm glad we did. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a happy time to see that whole area covered. Now, here is the real kicker. April 2021, when I was able to actually braid that center area down. When I had enough hair to do that, that was just amazing. Like, I was like, yes. Now, as you can see, it's still red in that area. So it's still, red and irritated. So again, I'm still getting my injections, taking my antibiotics, and, still getting my treatments. But the growth, okay, there wasn't any hair expected to be there. So for me to be able to do that, I was like, yes. And then even with the hairdresser, she didn't want me getting any type of styles that would be pulling at that area. So usually she would just do a wash and go, basically wash it, condition it, put some little hair products in it, little gel, and then I just walk out the door. So, I took very good care of my hair. Then we was like, okay, it's time to get the locks. And so basically the whole year of 2021, I just wore wash and goes. And then I was wearing wigs, for performance. So it was nice to just change up with the different wigs and, just kind of do that and just live like another woman, as my hair was just growing and growing and, trying to prepare for those locks. And so finally, April of 2022 was able to get the locks. This is a picture of when I got my locks done. I was just so happy, ended up doing a video when I counted the locks. It was 479 locks. And to be able to get that back part done, it was just amazing. Even now, I still go through bouts of irritation. I do take a topical steroid at home. So I only see him as needed every couple months or so he could check to see my progress. I have not seen him since I've had the locks. And so, again, I was a little nervous about getting the locks because I was like, I wasn't sure how this area would do, but these locks are growing. And even when I get the retightenings, she don't go too hard. She don't, lock it as much as she could, just enough. So again, that area is not pulling. And I'm still able to, wash my hair, keep it moving, and again, it's growing nicely. And so again, I have like one little small area or like one twist that I usually am able to find it a little quicker, but this little piece right here, is probably my shortest piece here, but it's a lot. It was much shorter. Oh, I lost it. Here we go. It was much shorter when I got it done. So I just keep an eye on this one here. This is my little gentle baby here. And just keep it moving. But it's still here and it's hanging. Sometimes I wonder about the center of my hair. And wonder if one day I might wake up and see locks in the bed. But, you know, I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But for now, you know, I'm just so happy. And again, the locks are getting longer. And even the area in the middle where it is shorter, they are getting longer. But again, just taking its little time. So I'm just nurturing it like a little plant. Just go ahead, grow. Take your time and grow. But nobody would ever know that I was dealing with the alopecia, you know, unless, you know, I said something. You know, they wouldn't know. A lot of times people think I just got my hair just cut in layers, you know, but I like the layered look. I like it, you know, I like it. Gives it a little style, a little flair, but again, it's just my hair just doing what it does. And so that's it for the video. I'm trying not to have it too long, but thank you for joining me, and I will see you at my 12-month mark. All right, and y'all have a great one, and just do it. You know, for anybody who's, you know, debating, do your research. But just do it, you know, it's only hair. So even if after a while you don't want to do it, you can always cut it off, you know. But you got to do what makes you happy, all right? So until next time, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.